Hello and welcome. This is game 2 that Magi sent to me. We are in the tier 10 US Battleship the Ohio. If you would like to see game 1, then click on the link in the corner. So, it's time for game 2 and Magi yet again does the expert strategy of being AFK at the start of the match, where because for some reason it just seems to lead to amazing games. This time though, Magi has actual camouflage that it's bluish in color, but I feel like it's a slightly different type of blue than what the surrounding water is. I guess this one blends in super well with the ocean as well, right? I mean, I can't even see the ship, right? It's invisible. So, wow, the enemies got... Oh, never mind. I wanted to say, oh wow, the enemies got spotted immediately at the start of the game, but that's not actually true because, well, Magi was AFK for the start of the game. Which means that her start of the game is actually almost a whole minute later. This is on the map Loop. I actually really like casting from replays because I never seem to remember the names of maps, and in replays I can just press the tap button. Anyway, she starts heading towards the sea cap because she would like to see. See what I did there? And it seems that a whole bunch of his allies, or her allies, seem to be heading in the same direction, except that it's only two battleships, Magi and the Jean-Bart. The Montana and the Grosse Koffer seem to be heading for the A-cap. There are also no destroyers actually heading towards the C-cap, but Magi does have a Smolensk over here. This time she does not have support from division members, so she can't quite rely quite as much on destroyers being excellent at the game, although we can hope that they are. Absolutely nothing is in range, which leads to a really sad starting portion of the game. Although I suppose with the scout plane she could take shots at the Soyuz that's near the A-cap. And maybe even the Smolensk that's near the A-cap, although I suppose the chance of actually hitting anything from that range is basically zero for the Smolensk. The Soyuz should be easier. But no scout plane is even needed. She can still take a shot even without that. She doesn't seem to be too happy with those shells, but they did actually hit 4 times. All over penetrations, but that's still 6,300 damage. Next up, I suppose, I would guess it's the Baltimore who just disappeared. Because I don't think she can... Oh, never mind. I wanted to say I don't think she can fire through this island, but perhaps it might be possible to fire over it. And I think that Worcester is going to not be too happy with that. Never mind, because the shells apparently missed. The Lexington seems to be coming on this side to this side of the map because the planes seem to be quite common over here. Next up, it's a decision between a Grosse Koffer or a Baltimore. I would have gone for the Koffer as well. Even though the Baltimore is closer, the Koffer is showing broadside and it's a less maneuverable ship, meaning that there's a much higher chance, in my opinion, of hitting, although she kind of overestimated where the Koffer was going to be. Regardless, that means that the next salvo is going to be more accurate, right? Oh, she doesn't... The Koffer isn't actually going full speed. Well, she's kind of stopping in general, it seems. There's a kid in front of the... in the frontal direction, but I imagine that the Smolensk and the CV will take care of the DD. Especially since the DD is as far as this Worcester. I would like to say that it would have been easier to hit the Worcester, but that's not true because she would have been behind the island. I think that if the aiming position was accurate, I don't think that those shells are gonna do anything. Because that seemed to be way above. What? Okay, maybe there's a disconnect between the replay, because that looked really off-base to me, the aim that is. But perhaps the Koffer also turned away, so there's that chance as well. Or maybe I just suck at aiming. They could all be true as well. Yeah, that Coffest really seems to like playing with her throttle. But I think that her luck has run out now, because this is gonna slightly hurt. 10k, pretty decent. Also, this game tells us why why Destroyer play is not appropriate for Magi. She is really, really unsuitable for being a Destroyer player. And you'll see that soon enough. Although I suppose you already have an indication on the minimap right now, which is that in the direction those planes are coming from, there's a CV, right? Which means that, oh my god! Wow! Yeah, that was not a great idea, Lexington, right? That did not work out at all like you would want it to. Anyway, the Lexington is now visible on the minimap, which Magi will soon react to, I'm sure of it. Wow, 24k damage, that's amazing. No citadels even involved, but Lexington is next. I mean, a CV being caught out like this is terrible because ships usually just keep chasing and then the CV, well, just dies because she can't exactly disengage. But this is the reason why Magi is unsuitable to be a Destroyer player. Look at where she's sailing. She's literally turning away from the CV. Why? This is not what Destroyer players do, okay? Destroyer players would point their nose directly towards that Lexington, and it doesn't matter what else happens in the game, they would just go straight for that Lexington. Nothing could possibly stop them. But Magi, for some reason, is actually sailing away. And what's even worse is that the Lexington is going to disappear now, and Magi is not planning on chasing. I haven't seen a single Destroyer player that would do such a thing. This is blasphemy. But she decides to deal with this Coffest instead, because apparently she likes the German battleships more. I suppose tier 10 versus tier 8 might have a small role to play in that decision. And also maybe the fact that defending caps tends to be important, especially when your team is 4 ships behind. I mean, look at the minimap, right? Or look at the state of the game. The green team has lost Za, Baltimore, Fletcher, Akizuki. The red team has lost nothing. So Magi's team literally has no destroyers. So perhaps defending caps is actually more important. But still, I mean, think about it. When you're playing destroyers, what's more important? Winning the game or sinking the CV? Well, actually, it's winning the game or trying to sink the CV, right? Because destroyers usually don't actually sink the CV. Usually, you know, sinking the CV or trying to sink the CV is the #1 priority of every destroyer player. Not this kind of cap or winning thing. Pfft, who cares about winning? Anyway, surprisingly, Magi still has a lot of HP. Perhaps staying AFK at the start of the game has its uses. Okay, I'm just kidding on that part. Well, actually, maybe not quite as much. This Worcester, though, is completely dead. Goodbye, Gab. Or, I suppose Worcester also might have good armor. Worcester actually has some really trolly armor, in my opinion. It's probably my least favorite ship to shoot at as a battleship, because for some reason they just don't seem to take a lot of damage. Luckily, though, secondaries don't care about that. And I think that Worcester is gonna be taken care of by this salvo. Or maybe not. That's some bad RNG. Some really bad RNG. Oh, a Wichita! Wow! A handicapped Baltimore. I didn't expect to ever see that ship in a game. Because, well, unfortunately, the Wichita is just the worst Baltimore in basically every single way. Like, I don't see a reason why you would want to play the Wichita instead of the Baltimore. Which I'm fine with, because I really like the Baltimore. So Wichita actually isn't that bad, but still, I don't see a reason to play the ship. Anyway, remember how it was 4 ships lost versus 0? Well, now it's 5 ships lost versus 4. And I think this Montana is gonna want to make it 5 ships lost for 5. Because she seems to give no fucks about showing broadside to an Ohio. 26k damage, and that's only 2 guns, or 2 turrets, and now the other 2 for another 20k damage. That Montana basically just took 50,000 damage from this Ohio, or 45,000, something like that. In essentially one salvo. Yeah, Montana, you screwed up, and you're not even trying to fix your mistakes, so goodbye, I suppose. Okay, maybe not quite yet, but soon enough. I mean, honestly, this Ohio, or this Montana, basically gave away her ship for nothing in return. 2 fires on Magi, I would press the R button. But perhaps Magi just didn't realize that that's the case. Sometimes it happens, or maybe she thought, you know, the fire's gonna run out anyway soon. And this could be a situation where you could get torpedoed. For example, she doesn't know where the Yuguma is. At least, I don't know where the Yuguma is. Haven't paid enough attention. And so using a damage control party randomly here might actually be disadvantageous. But due to the 2 cap zones and the fact that the Smolensk actually took care of the CV, it's an even game in terms of the ship numbers, but in terms of points, the green team is a good 330 points ahead.
Our victory is in sight. Torpedoes to starboard.
And this lead is only going to grow because... Wait, what? What the hell torpedoed behind Magi? There's a destroyer somewhere over there, so I guess that's where the Yuguma is? And the kid is in B, probably. Anyway, Zhao showing broadside again to Magi. I don't know, why do so many ships show broadside to Magi? I don't get it. I suppose this is what... Actually, I guess this is what people mean when they watch my videos and say things like, oh my god, I can't believe that people just show broadside to you all the time. Because when I actually play, that's not the case, right? But perhaps when you only watch the videos, that's what you see. Anyway, this Zhao is... If she doesn't go down now, she's gonna go down soon enough. Oh, there's the Yuguma. Wow. See, the Yuguma is the proper destroyer player. She's actually going after the Shocker. Look, right there. Yuguma, trying to chase the Shocker. That's what destroyer players should do. Anyway. Now it's a fight against the Grossa first. Which is gonna not be that amazing because the Kofest is showing broadside and I'm pretty sure Magi's angling will give her victory. Although I suppose technically a surprise kid from the side could be quite devastating. Luckily though, a kid doesn't exactly have amazing torpedoes, so it's probably not game ending, or at least not for Magi anyway. Kofest is also angling now. Well, she was angling before. Not anymore, because I suppose winning is overrated. Okay. Wow, she's showing as much broadside as possible, basically. 29k, and I think one more salvo, and she will have had it. In fact, I'm not even sure if you need the salvo because of the fires and the secondaries. Yeah, there she goes. Next up, Zhao. And a game that was, at least initially, in quite a poor situation for the green team, is actually now pretty much a guaranteed... No, it is a guaranteed victory now. There is no chance for the red team to do anything. Even if they start getting detonations, they would still lose this game, I think. And, oh wow, B-cut decap, but regardless, game's over. 305k damage, 2.1 million potential damage. And I mean, Magi still had a whole bunch of HP left at the end there, right? She could have just done another 100k damage if there were ships to fight, I suppose. Only 2 ships sunk this time, 3 citadels, but 272 secondary hits, and of course 305,008 damage. A whole bunch of medals, 2518 base XP this time, and here's the damage. 250k yet again with AP, around about the same amount of shell hits actually, 77. I believe the first one had 82 or something like that, so it's very close. Go check out game 3. It is still in the Ohio and it's just as amazing. There will be a link in the corner and in the description. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Activo 2, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.